I didn't realize how my life and business would change drastically because of floating. So, what is a float tank? Maybe you heard about it through Joe Rogan's podcast. Maybe you heard that the US military uses it as a training tool for their soldiers, or maybe just like me, you didn't really hear about it at all. No worries, I got you. According to WebMD, a float tank is also known as a flotation tank, a sensory deprivation tank, or an isolation tank. It's a tank filled with 300 millimeters of Epsom salt and it's perfectly heated to the outer skin temperature. The float tank is also soundproof and dark. This gives you a sensory deprivation experience that will encourage you to go into a quiet, meditative state while floating. The salts in the solution will also help with stress relief and dull your pains and aches. This is from WebMD. This is not woo woo or alternative medicine that I used to think it was. And I'm going to show you some mind blowing data and science behind it. So, let's back it up. Let's start with where I committed last year to 1 year of floating every Tuesday, 9 a.m. And what happened was, after 3 consecutive weeks, I began to experience a time warp. I felt like I was in the tank for only 5 minutes, but it was definitely 60. And then what I began to notice is if I missed a week, my body just knew. Every Tuesday 9 a.m. it was in this meditative state, just relaxing. And the relaxation mode began to go into the other days of my week. And so I experienced some major shifts. I'm going to talk about three major ones. Number one is I used to be in a deep sleep and be just have this jolts out of bed. I would sit up just all of a sudden as if the alarm came blaring on my clock, but there was no alarm. I would just jolt out of bed. My heart was racing and I'd be wondering, did I forget something? Did I have a deadline? I felt really scattered. I was forgetful. I called it brain fog. And now I'm a whole different person. I'm so much more calmer. There's no more jolting out of bed in the middle of the night. And I'm experiencing just a lot of clarity in my life. Number two is I used to be very reactive. The fight, flight, freeze, or even fawn response. Fawn is when you automatically try to people please to de escalate situations. And now I respond in such a more powerful way. They call it emotional intelligence. It's amazing. Number three is I'm experiencing heightened intuition. I'm able to not only read a room or read a situation, I almost feel like I know what's about to happen. I'm also experiencing regular synchronicities, like I'm at the right place at the right time, seeing the right person. And this has been a game changer for me, not only for my life, but in my business as well, like increasing sales without the extra effort or hustle. But let's go deeper into what stress is. There are three different types of stress. And according to quantum physics Dr. Joe Dispenza, the first one is physical stress. It's from falls, accidents, etc. And number two is environmental or chemical stress. It's from toxicity in our environment. And number three is emotional stress. So the first two are like external types of stress. But number three, the emotional stress, he is showing that studies show that majority of our doctor visits are related to this type of stress. It's the internal emotional stress, and he's saying about 75 to 90% of people that walk in to visit the doctor actually, this is emotional stress. So 4 out of 5 patients are actually experiencing stress from inside. And, this statistics made me go boom. No wonder. Our local hospital, I've had family and friends go to the ER and they were waiting for 3 to 4 hours and they were in pain, but the ER couldn't help them because they were just an overload. And on the back end, I have a family member that works for our local hospital, and she's saying that according to their numbers, double the amount of people are walking in than they're capable of handling. So they're overloaded. The other alarming thing about the statistics to me is that, yeah, we might be getting medicine or treatments, or even sometimes, oh my goodness, my family members get surgery. But if it is really stress related, we're not getting to the root of the problem. We're treating the surface level, the symptoms, but not the root of the problem. But it all comes down to our nervous system. And the main symptoms of a weak nervous system is loss of muscle strength, headaches, headaches that continue for a long time, memory loss. Oh, I can totally relate to this. I was experiencing what I called brain fog. There's numbness or tingling sensations, muscle rigidity, back pain, tremors, or seizures. These are just some of the more common symptoms of having a weak nervous system. But basically, this happens when stress knocks the body out of balance, or what they call homeostasis. So, what the heck is our nervous system? It's a complex network of cells, tissues, and organs that controls and coordinates all of our bodily functions. It receives, it processes, and sends signals throughout the entire body, enabling us to move, think, feel, and respond to our environment. It consists of the brain, the spinal cord, and all of the other amazing things in our body. And the nervous system is like an antenna, it's constantly broadcasting signals. And science is now measuring these signals. So it's proving that meditation, calming exercises, the float, it's not woo stuff like I used to think. You see, the nervous system is absolutely amazing. It is programmed from birth. Every experience is programmed into our nervous system in order to protect us. The nervous system stores these memories and experiences. And I use this example as a child. We quickly learn what it is to touch a hot stove, and we don't do it again, right? So, absolutely, the scientists are now being able to prove that this is not woo woo stuff. The brain is like the command center. So, by being able to meditate or be in the float tank, it's like upgrading the operating system of a computer to a more powerful internal processor, which actually helps develop self awareness. It creates new neural highways in the brain and creating a cascade of feel good chemicals in our body, like dopamine or serotonin. It is shifting us from survival mode to a master of emotional intelligence. And what the tank did for me, it actually brought my nervous system back into balance, and my whole life felt like it was balanced. And one last word of advice, it's consistency. It's so important when reprogramming our nervous system. For me, I was programmed for over 50 years of experiences and reactions. So I needed to stay consistent with utilizing the float tank in order to reprogram myself. And wow, has it been amazing. I highly suggest Nalahia Floats VIP membership program, where you sign up and commit to a year of floating at a discounted rate. You are so worth it. It is a game changer. I highly suggest it. Reach out to naluhiafloats.com. Aloha.